Look, I need you watching our backs. You're a better shot than I am.
Huh, really?
No?
With the fabricator. Let's go.
Hello there, Serafim17 once again. This is my Gears of War 4 Insane Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Act 1, Chapter 4, A Few Snags. This is the first hard level of the game. Everything so far has had tricky moments, but none of it has been what I would call traditionally taxing. This is going to tax you, and it's only one wave that I think is really bad, even though any of them can be bad, but it's one because of checkpoints. So this is a settlement. This is the settlement of, is she called Kat? I can't even remember the names. The girl who JD's sticking it to, Scrub style. Her mother owns this place, this very beautiful, Uncharted-esque, colourful town. And we're bringing the Fabricator here, and it invokes a bunch of trouble. The Fabricator is essentially Horde mode engaged, and you're going to dump it in front of the town hall, and you're going to have the option to build defences. So, the defences that you build is entirely up to you. However, you don't have the most choice, because you don't have a lot of tools at your disposal at this moment, but you have enough to do decent bits of fortification. And my advice on the beginning wave is to just put a spike strip on the entrance to this side and on the entrance to the other side. I'm going to try something experimental here because I forgot where the first wave came from. This is going to pay off later on, but it doesn't pay off as much as it would have if I'd have put it right there where I just ran past. The first wave of this is an introduction to defending. The turrets are a good choice because the turrets are powerful and they fire indefinitely, but they can be easily destroyed. The trackers are the biggest dickheads for destroying everything because they do this awesome spin move that looks cool, like Johnny 5 tech, and it just wrecks. It wrecks shop. There's an interesting balance with how the turrets and the fortifications work. They've got it where they're really effective, but they're also really vulnerable too. And because of how expensive they are, you don't have the luxury of having too much. And my biggest gripe about this entire situation is, do you see how slow I'm moving? You can't sprint when you do this. You can't do any of the fancy technology that you can do in this game to move very fast. So when they give you a minute to set up, and they force you to walk around like a pensioner setting up traps, it's really annoying. Like, all I want to do is run. I spend this entire game bouncing off walls, sprinting, and having fun with the movement because it feels really good. And then in these moments, they stop you from doing it, and then they time you. It's like, why would they shoot you in the leg and then expect you to run 100 meters? Like, come on, nah. It's dumb. And you need all the defenses you can here because this is difficult. This is, I think, a 3 to 4 wave fight. And it gets thick fast. But the great news about it is I don't think there's a fail state for them attacking what they're meant to be attacking, because I've had DBs up in this zone and they've done nothing. Your team are retarded, they don't help, but they distract really, really well. And what we're going to do is, the first fight is just a free-for-all. Get comfortable, get used to where you're safe, where you're not safe, how accurate the enemies are, how aggressive they are, where they like to go, and where they come from. The second wave is the tough one, and it's tough for one reason. After you fight a massive wave of dudes, they introduce a new enemy called a Guardian, which is essentially, you know those wankers from Halo 4 that shielded dudes that flew around and just annoyed you? It's a bigger version of those. But guess what? They gave it the missiles that Gears is so famous for, where you're in perfect cover, they fire a barrage at you, and you're dead. So, at any moment, when you're fighting against this new enemy called the Guardian, if it missiles you and you get unlucky, you die, you have to do a big fight again just to get to him. And you know when it dies? They spawn too! So you have to fight against 3 flying dudes who can instantly kill you at any given time. They can fly above you, so you have to adjust where you are in cover, and sometimes you're never safe. And the only checkpoint you get is after you kill 3 of them. So I'll let you decide whether or not you think that breeds challenge or just frustration, because I know which one I do. But it's the way the game works, and it's the way every tough fight in this game is. Fight a tough wave that really takes it out of you, and then take on boss enemies that take way too much damage, can kill you way too quickly, and one mistake means a reset. So I hope you like replaying 5 to 10 minutes worth of gameplay, because that's what the game does for its challenge. And there's a lot of people that love that. There's a lot of people that think that that's what gaming's missing, and this game will really feel like a throwback to some of those older games for you. But not me. And I suppose it all depends on how you feel as well. That's important, by the way, guys. I picked up the Retro Lancer. This gun is a beast. It only carries 200 bullets, but it hits really hard, just like it did back in Gears 3, and the DBs cannot take it. So you can kill the DBs in about 30 bullets, as opposed to, you know, a bit more with the other stuff. And I'm saving the sniper because I know the Guardians are coming, and I'm thinking, if I can hit them with a few actives, I can kill them effectively, I can kill them quickly. I can drop the shield with the Lancer, and then I can just keep hitting that refill over there. And it works kind of that way. And the irony here was, on my first run of the game, I had a ton of trouble on this wave, where you have to fight the 3 Guardians at the end, because it's a really, you know, gut-wrenching, nail-biting sequence. And then on the next wave, I didn't have any trouble at all. But then when I recorded this, I got past the Guardian wave first time, and I felt like a beast. And then the final wave, I died about 4 or 5 times. And I actually left a few of those deaths in that massive video that I uploaded the other day. Because if you're wondering, guys, I've had this game since the 7th, but I've not been able to do much with it after I recorded it because I've been ill. And I was ill the entire time I was recording it. It was one of the hardest recording processes I've ever done. And it wasn't because of the game, you know. I could not enjoy hardly any of it because I felt so fucking bad. And it sucked. And it was hard. And I don't, you know, want to any sympathy or any woe is me kind of thing. I'm fantastic at playing the violin, but I don't want you to, you know, give me accolades for it. But it was a pretty miserable time. And isn't it ironic that I pay $100 fucking to play a game early so that I can get as much content as I can for it, and I spend the entire time sick as a fucking parrot, and I'm unable to do any of it. Like, this is the 11th today. This is the day the game comes out in America. And this is the first time I've had an opportunity to speak, because today I don't feel like I'm going to vomit and shit myself at the same time. So that's a good day. And it's been frustrating, to say the least, because I really want to share this with you. So instead, I showed a couple of the fail videos, and then I spent the entire time editing one big video together to give a non-commentated variety a go again with something different, and I want to see how that performs. A lot of people might not understand the motivation behind it, because I know you guys like my commentary, but the non-commentated one, that's not for my audience, that's for a different audience. That's for this audience of people who watch the non-commentated stuff, who just want to see the game. And if I can get them to the channel, they might watch a commentated video and think, wow, this is kind of cool, I like this. Or they might be like, you know, this English guy's a dickhead, why does he keep talking? Please stop, I want to die. You know, you never know. As Rich Piana says, you never know. Oh, that's so funny when he does that in those interviews. But this is the next wave. I'm going to pop a turret over on the right-hand side because I don't have much faith in them defending it. I've put a strip down so that it slows them. Do not put any fortification too close together, because if anything has a radius attack, it will kill both. I think on this wave, the middle stand goes through. Does the middle stand go through, or is it the next one? Was that the noise of it going through? No, it's still good. So this is fine. But how I like to set up here, guys, is I put more defences on the right, and I put strips on the left to slow people down, and I sit on the left. My allies generally go to the right, so it makes it a bit better that way. But this is when it starts really kicking off. There's a lot of dudes. They can hit you from good ranges. The greater the distance they are from you, the easier it is to return fire without being damaged. Because unfortunately on Insane, when they're as accurate and damaging as they are, when they get closer, you can't fire, you have to blind fire. But once again, guys, you are not in any danger blind firing on this level. You will never get hit like you did in that prologue, because it's just not how the game works. Those dirty fucking commie bastards were cheating. Don't even know who you fought in the Pendulum Wars, it was just another region or something, but they cheat. Dickheads. So you'll notice the DB who's heavy, I don't know his name, they're called Shepherds, the standard DBs, but I don't know what the big dude's called. I should probably name him something. But they've got in the other side, which I don't know how they got past the turret. Maybe it wasn't the best placement, but they're in anyway, so you'll notice I put myself in cover facing the enemies, because if I was, for instance, on the side of that L shape, they could hit me, which is really shitty, but it happens. So apparently we've got a couple more coming in, a new spawn, and now finally our first spike strip gets to do some work. Which is not the best, and you can only plant 2 grenades at any given time, which is frustrating because I would love to plant more grenades, but I understand what that's about. That was a tracker rolling in, so we need to stop that, because these things, if they get near you and you don't see them, you're dead. They're assholes. That's Mr. Jump-A-Lot with the shotgun. If he gets close, you're dead, so you need to put him down. And we've got a lot of people queuing up, but the tacks, or the spikes, are doing their job. They're slowing them down, they're stopping them from returning accurate fire. It's a really good design, I like it a lot. And I feel like the robots have just the right amount of life to feel satisfying to kill. And in Gears, it can be really difficult to feel satisfying when you kill people outside of that amazing jib and headshot noise. And they've really ramped their headshot noise up on this game, so you're going to really enjoy it if you're a fan of the series, because it sounds just harsh, and I love that. This is me baiting him to blow up, by the way. Proc him, get away, easy. If you don't do that, they can cause havoc because they run for a long time and they blow up on their own time as well. There's no checkpoint, guys. This is the Guardian part. So you see that fight we just did? Right at the beginning, when I was setting the traps, that's where the checkpoint is. If you die now. So these dudes, they suck. The first one, you want to use this opportunity to get any ammo that you need, get any resources that you need, because there's going to be a couple more enemies coming in via the condor. If it was just the Guardians, it'd probably be less bullshitty, but it's a lot of dudes, so you really need to get rid of this thing. And when he dies, 2 spawn. And here come trackers, just in case you thought that, you know, just a couple of enemies with a flying enemy with bombs is not fun enough. Trackers too. So knock his shield down. If you push the left analog stick when you're aiming, you can mark enemies. There goes the first one. Marking enemies doesn't seem to make much of a difference. I do it occasionally. I wanted to test it. I didn't feel like the team was shooting them any more than they did before. I do it as a placebo more than anything, but it feels sometimes like it makes a difference, so it's up to you guys. But this is when there's 2 of them, and right now, welcome to RNG. If these 2 guys give you a good pattern and don't come too close, like this dickhead's doing now, right now he can kill me if he wants to. It's all up to him, because this splash, all it takes is 1 bad splash and you're done. Restart checkpoint. So focus on dropping the shields. Never ever challenge any of those explosions because it's just not safe. And get one of them killed. When one of them dies, it gets way safer. But still, like right now, I'm holding my breath every missile impact because you just can't trust it. You can't trust this game. The explosions are stupid. Like all of this right now, I couldn't tell you how I'm not dying because it's just how the game is. You know, I'd love to tell you the missiles are just that fair, but they're not, because I have footage of them killing me. And it was moments where you're just like, how did that hit me? It's the same with the Brumac. When he does his head missiles, you just flip a coin. Did you get what you wanted? Oh no, you died. Same here. So, all I did was hug this cover. They didn't flank me in any dodgy route. I get really fortunate, and that's all it takes, guys. But the problem is not this. If when you saw that cutscene, they'd given you a checkpoint, this fight would be fun and challenging, but instead, it's brutal because there's your checkpoint. And how long was that? 7 minutes? Doesn't sound like a lot until you're playing, guys. 7 minutes is an eternity. But this final wave, I came up with a rather interesting strategy that uses what I learned later in the game to win. So I put the turret there, and then I sit on that box you just saw. That's all I do. I'm going to put some strips over here, just to stop this front passage because it seems to be incredibly frequented. So I'll put it just there, so it's got a nice, you know, length of strip. And all I'm going to do is sit back over here. I'm going to reload my ammunition, and I'm going to sit behind that box. What's going to happen, guys, is all the enemies do is rush you. That's all they want to do. They're all going to rush you, and in the middle, their AI gets confused because there's a ton of your friends there, and they don't entirely know who to shoot. When you're in cover here, you can shoot them, you're relatively safe, and if anybody tries to push you, the turret will get you back, and it'll kill them really quick. And the great part of this strategy is they will never get close enough to that turret to do enough damage to get rid of it because it's not in the way. It's literally out of the way, and that's the best way to use turrets in this game. Put them in a place where the enemy cannot reach, and it will save you indefinitely because it never runs out of ammunition, and the only risk of it is if it dies. And it's just one of those simple strats. You wouldn't think this would work, but it does. And all I'm going to do is help my team. They're going to get downed a lot. I'm going to be very cowardly, and the turret's going to back me up, and it's going to get you through. And I learnt this on the elevator to hell, because all I did was take cover on the fabricator and put down a ton of razor wire. And it was beautiful. It was a strategy where nothing could get to me because they couldn't run through the wire. It was... Did you ever see that match between Mick Foley and Terry Funk in like the NWF or what it was called? That Japanese death match they had with the razor wire everywhere? And there's that one bit where they're both tangled in the fence of wire. It's like that. They couldn't get to me. But guess what happened? My team kept getting fucked. And my team would never come into the safe zone. They just kept running away, getting bummed. And... It got a little rough, and I think I ended up getting charged by 4 at the same time, which would have been easier if I'd have had a distraction, but I didn't because my team are retarded. But sometimes you just need that good run, and that's what you're watching now. This is the good run. If you watch the longer video, you'll see a couple of bad runs where I try the left-hand side and I try some different placements, and I just think, let's do it old school, let's do what I've learnt and see if that works, and it did. So here comes a big dude. I'm moving up a little bit now because I know I've got time because the enemies aren't pushing too quickly. The DBs are very fair in their movement speed. They're not the fastest enemy, but if they get close, they do the damage. I'm going to get some more ammo now. I'm going to just double check the left-hand side. My team, you know, they're doing the thing. They've got good guns. There's even Kai's mum. I think she's called Kai. Is it Kate? Kate's mum? I don't know why I called her Kai. That's that fucking Cherokee dude, innit? I am going to ventilate my skull now, Marcus. Please don't stop me. Kai! Come on, dude. And oh, he's called Ty, isn't he? Not Kai. I'm thinking of somebody else who's not in Gears. Anyway, this is Gears 4. It's a long way since... Then again, Kai was famous for the Pendulum Wars, wasn't he? He was like a beast in those, so maybe we played as him in the prologue. That would have been cool. Because they did a lot of nostalgia poking, didn't they, in that sequence? There's a lot of interesting choices in this game. Like, they show Hoffman at the beginning, but they don't show him again. Did he die? Is he busy? Come on now, I want to hear him shouting. So, you'll notice your team start going down. A quick explanation of how the down symbols work. You can see them fill with blood. When they get to the top, that means that they're at the full threshold of bleeding out, but it doesn't make much difference. When you see them go white, it means they've been revived. It's pretty simple stuff, but it's quite small on the screen, so you might not see it when it happens. It happens quite quickly. But a couple big guys coming up now. You'll notice my turret hasn't had anything to do. I've never really been assailed. This bitch tries to steal my glory because the AI is obsessed with stealing your cover. I'm not going to talk much about how much I hate the AI till we get to Powerless. Which I don't know why I said that weird. Powerless. I think that's Act 4, Chapter 3 or something. Because in that mission, I have never been more frustrated at a team of NPCs in my entire life. Can you remember the beginning of my Halo 5 walkthrough? Where I spent the entire time punching my team who were blocking doors? Well, this is worse. Because in Gears, everything is designed around the right-hand side. This is a very anti-left-handed people game. Because as you know, you can only swap shoulders effectively in cover. You cannot swap where your shoulder is in this game. It's a mechanic that you think 2016, why doesn't it exist? And then you realise it's kind of how the game is balanced. It's how the game works. Everything has your character favouring the right-hand side. So you will always engage enemies from the left, so that you're moving to the right, moving towards your power hand and to where you have an advantage. This is where the turret really shines. Look at this. Dude's a beast. Love him. And if anybody else gets any funny ideas, they have sniper rifles, instant death, do not challenge them. And that's a Guardian, that noise. That means that those flyers have just turned up. Here's another heavy. You're probably thinking, Jesus, he's close, aren't you worried? No, I've got a turret. And the turret is a beast, but we didn't even need him, because he's already dead. Like... And I'm going to use these tri-shots to get rid of the Guardian once all the enemies are dead. And I think there's a DB just leapt to the left, so somebody needs to kill him. Looking back on this, I could have potentially put that turret closer, but you don't want to put it into a distance where when you roll, you clip it. Because if you roll into it and you can't get away from an explosion, you're going to reset and you don't want that. But as I was saying before I got interrupted by what was happening on screen, the game favours the right-hand side for everything, so you should always use that as your strength side. So when your AI buddy is on the left-hand piece of cover, and you can't get a good shot because you're aiming against the grain, you're getting tore to pieces in Insane because you die very quick, and you're not in cover, so you die even quicker. What can you do? You can't seemingly order the team. In Halo, you could order the team, and I didn't realise, so a lot of my frustration was my fault. In this game, I held the tack button, I pressed the other buttons, and I couldn't order anybody. So instead, I just used to punch them and shoot them. And then what they do is they take cover where you're aiming, so your bullets don't go through them, so you can't shoot, and enemies can shoot through your buddies and hit you. And there's all these design moments where you're just like, why do they insist in forcing these people on us the entire time for cooperative reasons, so that it's not jarring when you suddenly have 4 people when you play the game with your buddies? Yet all they do is get you killed. I'll never get it. Ellie was perfect. I never once blamed that girl because she got out of the way. On this game, they just love sucking up your shots. And they suck up shots for guns where you don't have many shots, and it's a nightmare. It is a bountiful nightmare. Terrors. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.